Hi guys, Pete here from Scoot Masters. How are you guys going? Me? I'm excited. I'm always excited when I get a new scoot. Hey guys, this thing behind me is the most eagerly anticipated scooter arrival in Australia this entire year. Yep, the BolZZen Commando. Just look at it, would you? Just look at it. Hey, or as I like to call it, the fucking Dragon Slayer. And guys, you'll see why shortly. I'm about to take you for a little bit of a walk around this scoot and just show you a few things, point them out to you, a few things that make this scooter amazing value for under $2,000. Yep, this thing is under $2,000. As a matter of fact, it's quite a bit under $2,000. You'll get enough change out of $2,000 to buy a bottle of scotch and a carton of beer. Fuck yeah, we all love that, don't we? They're retailing at $18.99. I mean, just look at it. Unbelievable value. BolZZen, you guys have knocked it out of the ballpark this time. And I've done about 100 Ks on this scooter already, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And it is without a doubt the best sub $2,000 scooter I have ever ridden in my life. And as a matter of fact, there's some features about this thing that are just flat out the best I've ever ridden in my life, no matter what, even on $5,000 scoots. Righto, let's get into it. Let's go for a little bit of a fly around. Woohoo! Then we're going to get on it and ride it. Like it, we love it. You know, I'm supposed to give this back in 30 days. Good luck with that, Christian. Yeah, you can pry it from my cold, dead fucking fingers, mate. Let's get into it. The very first thing I want to mention is that this particular scooter has the simple one-step lock and unlock for the stem mechanism. No more of those stupid slide-down collars that you got to fuck around with trying to get them tight. Thank you, Christian. Thank you for listening to me. But a real neat little picture that I've never ever seen before as a little added bit of security. Now, these things actually do clamp up very tight, but a little bit of added security. You've got that little fold-down locking mechanism there to make sure that that clamp is never ever going to come undone. Now, that's just a really simple little piece of ingenuity that works very well. Look at that. Righto, let's get on to these magnificent brakes. So guys, this is one of the features of this scoot that is the best that I've ever ridden, even on the more expensive scoots. I'm not too sure of these Weatherproof, the brand. I've not heard of them, but they are full hydraulic brakes, and let me tell you, they pull you up in a hell of a hurry, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a demonstration of that shortly. They've also got very good quality tubed tyres. Now, these are a road tyre, and they've got stacks and stacks and stacks of grip, let me tell you. So, as a standard tyre on a standard scoot, now bear in mind guys, this scoot is under $2,000. You've got to bear that in mind. $18.99 this scoot is. Absolutely crazy and cracking value. Alright, so it's got one of these normal little El Cheapo headlights, but this one is actually pretty good. Apparently they've got a 3-watt LED bulb in them, and it's actually quite bright for what they are. And the side lights are also very bright. I'll show you that shortly. Righto, now let's just move around here for a second. Have a look in there, guys. Hey, no more silly looking, well, not silly looking, but no more of those springy looking shocks. So these are actually called PUC suspension. Now, I have absolutely no clue what that means, but what I can tell you is it's generally only ever found on much more higher end scooters, so much more expensive scooters. And the suspension, once again, the best I've ever ridden. So there's two things about this scoot that are the best that I've ever ridden. And you guys know I have ridden a lot of scoots. I've ridden a shit ton of them. The suspension and the brakes are the best I've ever ridden on any scooter ever. And it's under $2,000. It looks nice and tidy too, doesn't it? Nice and neat and tidy. Now something else. Oh my God, I've been asking the scooter manufacturers to do this, I don't know, for probably 2 years. You know what it's like trying to change a tyre on these scooters, the power cable's hanging on, dangling out there, you can't pull the wheel right off, get them in a vice. These things down in here, I don't know whether you can see it, just in here, have got a quick release waterproof cable, front and rear, so you can basically just pull the cable off, take the wheel straight off to do tyre changes and puncture repairs. You know, these things are so simple. Why don't other scooter manufacturers do this? Just so fucking simple. Righto. I do want to address one elephant in the room though. The size of this deck. Now, when I first unboxed this scooter, I thought, that deck just looks a little bit short to me. But then I got on the thing and rode it. And after about 20 kilometres, I actually settled into it. And it's actually pretty good. I found myself putting my left foot here and my right foot back here. Those of you that like to ride on the duckbill, those of you that like to ride up here with your foot on the rest, then absolutely no problem at all. There's plenty of room on the deck. However, I would suggest that if you're a big fellow and you wore like a size 11 or a size 12 shoe, you might want to test ride one of these before you purchase one, just to make sure you've got enough real estate on that deck to ride the thing comfortably. Righto, what we're going to do now is we're going to get it down off the milk crate. And we're going to have a little bit of a look at what's going up on top there, because let me tell you, there's plenty to talk about up there. Have a look at the sexy colours, guys. Once again, something that I always pay particular attention to in scooters, because this is a weak point that fails, and when they fail it is catastrophic, is this whole collar and headset and neck assembly. And this is all rock solid, guys. It's first class, absolutely rock solid. And it's very, very, like the scooter gives you stacks of confidence when you're riding it. Dual 800 watt motors that peak at 1200 watt, and let me tell you, this thing does get cracking. But more importantly, this thing has a massive 50 amp hour sine wave controller in it. Now it's a dual channel controller, 50 amp hour sine wave. And I've got to tell you guys, those of you that haven't ridden scooters with sine wave controllers, the power delivery is just so smooth. Comes on very, very smooth, but then when it gets going, whoa man, it gets going. So it's very manageable, even in mode 3. When you hit that throttle, because these are, well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. When you hit the throttle, they still take off nice and smoothly. So, you know, some of the bigger scooters that you ride, some of you guys probably like this, but they're very harsh on the takeoff, and they spin the front wheel and nearly throw you off if you hit them too hard. And a lot of people have come unstuck riding scooters like that and have come off them until you get used to it. Power delivery on this sine wave controller. And once again, a sine wave controller in a sub $2,000 scooter, fuck off, how good is that? Righto, let's get up the business end and have a look up there. So guys, probably the first thing that we'll talk about that I noticed is the cabling management on this scooter. Now, it's very, very neat and very, very tidy. However, one thing I have noticed is there is, in my opinion, a little bit of a weak point here where this goes down into the deck to the electronics. That doesn't look very watertight there to me, and I would probably suggest when you purchase your Commando that you perhaps put a little bit of silicone around that. It just doesn't look watertight. I don't think it would be. Only time will tell. My main concern is that if you do end up riding in the rain, and you shouldn't, but of course sometimes you have no choice, the water might channel straight down these cables and down here into the electronics. So yeah, just a little bit of silicone around there will probably fix that, or maybe some sort of plug. Righto. Another little pet peeve. These things don't come standard with any sort of horn or bell. Naughty, naughty. So the boys from Scooter Bros fitted a little aftermarket bell for me. They're pretty useless, but anyway, it's on there. Righto. Let's have a look at this display. Wow. Now this is visible in direct sunlight, absolutely no problem at all. And very, very easy to go through the setting changes. So to go from single motor to dual motor, that's just the memory switch here. And you'll see what happens when I press that. Goes from dual, single, dual. Also to change the gear modes, it's just the up and down key. So you'll see here, eco, standard, and oh my God, hold on to your fucking hats, boys. And then you hit the button, the negative button, to just scroll back down through the gears. And you can do this on the fly, guys, no problem. The scooter doesn't seem to mind doing it on the fly. Regen braking, of course. Now, there are P settings on this scooter, but they are a little bit clunky to get into. So rather than try and walk you through all that in this video, I'm going to put a link down the bottom down here, which will take you to where there's a full breakdown of all the instructions, including all the P settings on the Commando. So I'll put the link down here. You can click on the link, you can download the instruction sheet. There's about 10 pages of it. Righto, let's get onto this throttle. Now, I've always been a bit of a fan of, I better turn that off first because this thing's on 0 start. And if I hit that, it's going to go kapong! Straight through the Scoot Master's wall. Turning off, powering down. Righto. So guys, yeah, look, got the nice little thumb throttle set up. I really like these throttles. Let me make sure it is turned off. Yep. So I find it nice and easy to use. The throttle position from the factory was sitting up a bit high for my liking, so I've actually adjusted this one down a little bit. But the power is nice and smooth, so even when you're in mode 3, when you're at full noise, dual motor mode 3, even if you hit that throttle like that, the thing just still takes off nice and smoothly. But once it gets to about 10 or 15 kilometres an hour, all hell breaks loose. So it is a whole ton of fun to ride. I really like this scoot, and like I said earlier on, you're never getting it back, BolZZen. All right, we're going to have a little bit of a look at the lights. I'm going to drop the shed door and see if we can make it a little bit darker in there. And then let's take the bastard for a ride. What do you reckon? Want to come for a ride? Hey? Yeah, come on. The side lights actually look pretty good, guys. They're certainly very, very visible at night time, and that's what it's all about, riding scooters at night, is being seen. The headlight, obviously, you can't see that too well on my shed here. But it is better than the standard normal little aftermarket light with the little standard lights you get like that. I'd probably still recommend you put an aftermarket light on the handlebars. Brake lights, okay. It's, you know, people can certainly see it at night time. Not very visible in the daytime, but that's fine. So yeah, there you have it. Lights up pretty good, and it's a solid amber colour, which means that it's perfectly legal. A lot of these scooters with the blue flashing lights on the bottom, highly illegal, gang, and there have been quite a few riders that have been getting pulled up by the popo and told to disconnect them. True story. Some of our members. Righto, let's get this thing out and give it a ride. Actually, what's the display look like at night? Well, it's not night, but is that, oh, yeah, that's pretty. Looks pretty good. Like it? We love it. Another thing that really impresses me about this scoot, gang, is that it only weighs 27.5 kilo. Yep, it's a lightweight, which means even though it's a dual motor scooter and it's a fast scooter, you can one person can lift it in and out of your vehicle with ease. Now that's pretty good for a 60 kilometre an hour scooter. On private property, of course, gang. 27 kilos for a 60 kilometre an hour dual motor scooter. Woohoo! And it's under $2,000, did I tell ya? So guys, a lot of you will want to know about the range on these things. Now, these are a 22 amp hour battery. They're A-grade cells. And as I said previously, they're dual 800 watt motors, and it's a 48 volt system. Now, I actually quite like 48 volt scooters. For some reason or another, I've just always felt that they've gone a little bit longer than some of the higher voltage scooters. Plenty of power. Don't let that 48 volt scare you. Plenty of power out of those dual 800 watt motors. So the range of the thing, now lithium ion batteries normally don't get to their full potential until they've had at least 5 full charge recycles. So this one's only had 2 charge recycles now, but on its maiden voyage, I did 55 kilometres on it, and we still had about 30% battery when we got back. Now, I was riding it reasonably aggressively, not the whole time, but certainly giving it plenty of fangs in dual motor mode 3, and I weigh 100 kilos. So if you're about that weight, around that 100 kilo weight, you would expect to get 60 or 70 kilometres out of this scooter with ease, particularly once, as I said, the battery's gone through those 5 or 6 full charge recycles. I'm really keen to do a range test on this once we've got this battery up to scratch, and I will actually do that. We'll take it out the velodrome. And normally when we do range tests, we put them in mid-range, so we usually put them in dual motor mode 2, and then we just ride them flat around the velodrome until they stop. I'm expecting good things from this one. I would think, I wouldn't be surprised in mode 2, flat chat, if it doesn't do 70 kilometres range. I like this scooter. I don't want to give it back. Don't think I'm gonna. guys. That thing is so much fun. The power delivery is so smooth, it's just addictive to ride, and I can't stop riding it. If you want one, I'll put a link down in the description as to how you go about ordering one of these. I believe they're about 80% sold out of their first shipment though, so you might want to get in quick. There were a lot of pre-orders before they arrived in the country from BolZZen. I'll put a link down there in the description. Righto, I'm going for another ride. See ya.